And now we're live, and none of that stuff got recorded. Hey, everybody.
Phew.
Welcome to our fourth session of our Cypher system game with Jesse at the helm. I'm going to kick it over to him. I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this beginning. But, kick it to Jesse. We'll get a recap, and then we'll jump into the explosive gameplay for tonight.
That's what she said.
Okay. She did,
Right.
Unfortunately. Yep. Beep bop boop. So last time on Cypher System, the group did a little research into who else is on the ship and a little interrogation, and found somebody sneaking around their own packages and realized that somebody had hired him to kind of do some snooping around and some secret marking. And so they while Decurro followed him back to his room and checked all that out, there was a little more carousing around the rest of the ship, and then suddenly an alarm went off. And everybody rushed to the deck, most people, and they found that they were under attack by these men on the back of these bat-like creatures swooping down and attacking the ship. And while attempting to fight those off, I believe Decurro realized that there was some on the catamaran running to the stabilizer on the side of the ship. So he swooped down to try to get rid of some of them, but unfortunately it was a little too late, and he saw that there were explosives there. And while he managed to get them off of his side, heard a loud boom echo across the ship, and he saw flashes and bangs all along the hull and on the other side of the ship as well, and everything began to tilt and rock. And currently we find ourselves in the midst of the action.
Except
you forgot that Myra had exploded out from the ship, and she just started blasting these bat things out of the sky, and she basically saved the day.
That's exactly what happened.
Isn't that what happened?
I actually so I ended up retconning that, and what happened was that while there were explosions going on outside the hull, Myra was having explosive diarrhea in the cargo.
Oh, thanks, guys. This is my This is my penalty for having a hangover last game and not being able to stay with it.
That's canon.
I thought your battery was dying.
That too.
Wink.
No, that legit. The battery did die, but my doziness was I worked 2 doubles and then went to Iron Maiden the night before.
Is that a quadruple? Isn't that a quadruple?
Yeah, and then I was like, oh yeah, it was really bad. That's why I'm like, I was just having a hard time staying with it, but I'm here. And I guess Myra was shitting herself last week. So,
ha! This is an intervention. You've been fooled.
Video intervention.
Intervention hangouts.
We don't care about drinking. Just don't go to Iron Maiden anymore.
Hey, I went to Iron Maiden too.
Well, you're in that too. It's a double intervention.
Damn it!
Psych, we actually don't care about you, John.
Aww.
So was my character really pooping herself?
No.
Okay.
No, but you are. Myra was stunned by the cacophonous sounds going on, and started off with the loud alarm echoing throughout the cargo hold that shocked her into place. And then we will actually, if we are ready to proceed, John, I don't know if you want to do intros or anything like that, or if we're just going to jump right into the action.
Maybe have we ever recorded intros? Wow, I'm gonna have to edit so much.
Really don't think we have. Maybe we should.
All right. Well,
the very first
we totally did it last time.
Did we
do it last time?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, fuck it. We'll just play.
Yeah. Fuck intros. Nobody needs to know who we are.
They'll figure it out.
I'm Marius.
Badass name, Marius.
Yeah, it is.
Unless you say it Mary ass.
That's what the kids called me in 3rd grade.
Oh no.
Yeah. Because I pooped myself.
I get it. I feel your pain, man.
There you go. Yeah. Me and Myra. Whatever your name is. Who cares? You're whoever I say you are.
Doesn't matter. We
Trapped
just
in a sinking ship.
We don't do intros. You're whoever I say you are. All right. So, yes. So, actually, while all that is going on, we are going to jump back in time a few minutes. And we are actually going to go to Myra hanging out in the cargo hold.
Okay.
So, at this point in time, you have been frozen in place. Everything has been new to you thus far. You grew up in a tiny little village in the swamps, and even then you spent most of your time outside of the village anyway, because you're ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know, ugly women get cast out of society. It's a horrible fact of this of nature.
Of
And
just the
shouldn't
Cypher
happen.
system in general.
Yeah.
Oh, way to break the fourth wall.
Hashtag feminism.
Oh boy.
And so you are, and then the city was brand new. Now you're on a ship, and now you're hearing possibly the loudest sound that you've heard in your entire life. And so obviously it's kind of scary and freaky. But what we will do is give you a chance to break yourself out of this and actually motivate yourself into action.
Yes, let's do this.
Yes. So right off the bat, what we are going to do is give you an intellect check.
Okay.
So we're going to use your intellect to attempt to overcome this fright, this fearfulness. And so we're going to mark this off at a difficulty of 4.
Okay.
And if you have anything in your traits or abilities or your background that you think you can kind of pull into that, feel free.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to do is use a level of effort in this because I want to make this happen.
Do it up.
And then I have fear-based interactions as a skill, as I'm usually causing fear, but because I know fear so well, I would know how to talk myself out of being afraid.
All right. All right. How would that go? I mean, what would the inner monologue, possibly even outer monologue of Myra be with that?
Myra, you fool, you know how this goes. You've been here before. This is what you live on. How can you be a victim of your own processes?
Nice.
All right. So it started out at level 4, so we're bringing it down to level 2.
Yes, you do.
All right. Oh, and I rolled a 6.
Oh. Very
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, so it takes you a few moments, but finally you stop shaking and you regain control over your own body, and you're able to move your big toe and proceed from there.
Okay, we're working it up.
Yeah, rather quickly though. You just kind of test the big toe, and you're like, oh, I can move my entire body too. I should have done that first.
All right. The second I'm able to move again, I would like to, and I hear these noises coming from outside of where I am.
They are actually coming from basically everywhere.
Oh.
If you take a quick glance around, you can actually see that in the corners of the cargo hold, and then also kind of sporadically around the ceiling, there's these small, probably silver dollar sized discs that have a tiny little reddish glow in the middle, and they're pulsing pretty heavily. It's not like a soft pulse. It's almost like an on off. And you get the sense that those are creating this conjoined echoing sound.
Okay. When I get the chance, I'm going to try and take one out with one of my blow darts and see if I can't somehow stop this sound from happening or stop the ripple effect.
So we'll just mark that. It's going to be pretty basic. So we'll do that at a 2.
Okay. And it is a small weapon, so the modifier brings it down 1 level, so I can't roll a 3 or lower than... Oh, I rolled a 17.
Oh, look at that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So you end up actually hitting that, and then you see this quick, almost like electrical bolt that it looks like it was in like an invisible wire connected to several of them around. And it's almost a chain reaction where you see a burst and then burst, and then burst. And probably about a dozen of them, the vast majority of them in the cargo hold, just short circuit out. To the point where now the noise is still loud, but it's manageable.
Okay. I'm probably going to assume that as a good thing. So Myra is going to go around and try and take out some of the other ones.
Okay, yeah. So if you probably just hit a couple others, and that same chain reaction will go off, and eventually, after a couple more shots, you'll be able to clear the whole cargo hold.
It sounds like a good plan.
And as you do, so there are people there's a handful of people down there with you. And they're really not paying too much attention to you. They're kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off. And as you do that, kind of everybody around here kind of starts to settle down a little bit. And you can still hear the same sound going off on the rest of the ship, but it's not nearly as loud. It's like, it's like hearing a sound like a buzzer from a few rooms away.
All right. Feel good about that. So when this room is pretty cleared, I'm going to try and go and find my friends stealthily.
Okay. All right. Exactly what kind of stealth are you looking for?
I don't want to just walk out brazenly. I will be like going against walls and kind of doing my... I'm not taking too much time, but I'm just not pouncing through with my ugly face. I'm just trying to keep to the background and keep out of the main phrase. Okay.
As you leave the cargo hold, you will find that that's not all that difficult. Once you get up, there's people. Most of the passengers are up in the hallways and the upper decks, panicking, but in an organized way. There are crew members spread out throughout the halls that are ushering people, trying to get them back into their rooms or into the galley, into safe areas. Okay. So they're trying to get people away from the outside of the ship into the center. So if you have a room in the middle, or if you want to go into the galley, they're just trying to kind of pull everyone into the center. So it won't be hard at all for you to kind of just meld in to the crowd.
Okay, beautiful.
All right. So where exactly would you want to go? Do you want to maybe try to go to somebody's room? Are you trying to go to the galley with the majority of the people? Are you going top deck?
No, if I know the people that I'm with, which I don't know very well, but I've seen them in action, they will probably be in the fray of it. They want to protect their precious cargo. So I'm going to assume they're on deck someplace getting into trouble, needing my assistance.
That would make sense. So it will take you a few minutes to get up top.
Sure.
Kind of almost fighting against the crowd. But it's one of those where you pass a crewman here and there, and they'll try to navigate you back the other way, but it's in a casual manner, like, please everybody this way, and they're not going to grab you and turn you around and be like, no, you can't go that way.
And if they do, I'll just show them my face and they'll go,
oh my god,
yeah,
go up top.
Got the scurvy.
So yeah, after a few minutes, you'll make your way up top, and you actually do see that there is a giant fray going on right now. You actually, basically, as you come up to the top of the stairs and come around the corner and poke your head through, a giant bat-like creature slams down onto the ground, and you actually see Valos like hop off of this thing and turn around and like then huck a dagger at it, and you see Decurro jumping off the side of the ship. You're like, what the hell is going on? And within about 5 seconds after that, suddenly you hear kind of this clicking sound from behind you.
Uh-oh. I will look.
All right. So if you kind of come up a little bit and look around, there's this hooded figure that is, he has probably a football-sized device that he's clamping. Like it's almost like it's pressure sensitive, where when he puts it against the hull, the deck of the ship, these 3 claws come curving out and clamp down into the wood, and he turns a dial up on the top, and the whole thing just starts to pulse a orange glow.
Oh. All right, and this hooded figure looks like a humanoid?
Yes, it at least has 2 feet and 2 hands and a head.
Okay.
Attached to a body.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty. Okay. Sorry, I had all kinds of noises going on in the background. I am going to try and use my terrifying presence on this creature here. So what this does is, let me just put the thing. I don't know what level it is. We're going to try it. It's going to cost 2 intelligence points. I'm going to try and convince one target level 3 or lower that I'm its worst nightmare and paralyze it with fear. It's either going to run away, or actually I can spend effort to increase the max level of the target, but we'll see how it works. If it's a level 3, I have no idea. Okay. And I'm going to pull back my hood and say, "You are messing with the wrong ship. You will pay for this." And I'm going to try and use this terrifying presence here.
Very nice.
Okay.
So you're going to go, it's a pretty easy. They're a difficulty 2.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming I'm rolling this and just beating the level 2 then. Actually, here's the rule question, or is it just, okay. Do I have to roll anything?
I don't know. What is it? Well, read the ability. What is it?
Convince one target level 3 or lower that yours worst nightmare. Paralyzed with fear, runs away. Spend effort to increase the max level of target.
Oh yeah, so it sounds like anything 3 or below is an automatic, and then you spend effort to raise that number.
Sounds right with everybody?
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Be scared, dude.
Yeah. So he actually lets out a weird sound. It's almost like a squawk.
Oh.
Sounds kind of like a raven or a crow.
A bird.
And he stumbles backwards, hitting the railing, and his hood knocks off, and he's wearing this bird-like mask, and it's very realistic. He even has like the feathers up on the side and on the top of his head and everything like that. He has these deep, large black eyes.
And what did he do with the machine that was on the ground there?
It is still clamped into the ground, and the pulse on the top of the knob that he turned is quickening slightly, and it's kind of hewing more towards a reddish orange now.
Okay. I would like to spend my next turn trying to stop that thing, however I can do it. If I'm twisting the knob or just kicking it off, whatever ways I can see fit to stop it from doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Okay. So it depends on if you want to interact with it and attempt to disable it, or if you want to actually physically remove it.
Yeah, I think I want to physically remove it and toss it overboard if I can.
All right, very nice. That would be a might check then, and we'll set that at a 3.
Okay. I'm not very strong, but we're going to try it flat out this time. Oh, and I got an 16.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. So you find yourself fearful of the outcome of this. You find a hidden reserve of strength, and you're able to kind of like pry underneath it and pop the thing off. And when you do, it actually flies up and tumbles and goes through the railing and down into the water.
Okay, nice.
And this guy kind of looks at you and then looks at that thing, and it's like,
I think I'm gonna hiss at it.
all right. And with that, he actually looks behind him down at the edge, and he kind of lets out another squawk. And that's when you actually realize that he's not wearing a mask, that he actually is a bird man. And with that, he jumps backwards, almost doing a backwards tumble. And in rather Back to the Future-esque, he then comes up on this weird bat-like creature that has these handful of large discs kind of thrown all throughout its body. And it doesn't even appear to really flap its wings to fly. It more so hovers up. And he lets out one more squawk at you before he kicks this thing and turns it rather swiftly, almost on a dime, and it just jets off.
Well, what was that? Has Myra ever seen anything like that before or heard any stories?
Go ahead and give me an intellect check.
Okay.
We'll set it. It's going to be pretty challenging. Let's set it at a 5.
Okay. I'm going to spend some effort. I would like to know what this is.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So bring it down to a 4 and hope for the best. 15.
Wow.
I'm keeping this guy. Right? This one's going in the good pile.
Keep that die. That's a good die.
Yep.
All right. Where did I put this thing? All right. So this creature, I have to open up my notes. Why are you making me open notes up?
I know. I'm such an asshole.
You are. Thought I was done this. All right. So you've actually heard, being where you are, kind of so far up north. You've actually, while you haven't had interaction with these things, some of the hunters and scouts that had been up towards the north coast had interactions in the past with these, and they call them rasters. They're these flying creatures that are almost imbued with archaeo technology.
Oh.
So they're it's not necessarily at least your people don't necessarily know how they've come about to having this tech incorporated into them, but they've never seen one of them without it.
All right, that's interesting. What the heck are they doing here? Has all of them started flying off, or are there more left on the ship?
So as this one flies off, you kind of look, you follow him, and you can see him fly off until he disappears, and it's middle of the night, pitch black. So it's very soon that he kind of takes off, and then your eyes kind of follow down, and you see about 4 others of these guys take off from the side of the ship. And when you follow them, you actually see a couple more from the front of the ship fly up to join them, and they soon disappear as well.
I will be searching for my friends after I see that retreat.
All right. So you look around, and pretty much the only person that you see at this point is Milo up at the helm of the ship. And you see him not so much worse for the wear, but you see actually that he's helping somebody on the ground. And you see the first mate Pivel as well in a frantic.
All right.
And that is when you hear off on your side a very loud series of explosions that send the entire ship tilting towards you. And that's... Oh, go ahead.
Nope, go on.
All right. And that's actually when we'll bring everybody else back into the fray.
Okay.
So at this point now, all of you are on the ship. Milo, you're up at the... Actually, I think you're on the deck underneath like the overhang. You would jump down. Yeah. So you would jump down. Valos and Decurro are down on the other support, and we have Myra now on the top deck. And so when all of these explosions go off, Valos and Decurro, you can see along the hull on your side a handful of them go off. Milo, you can see a couple at the front of the ship. You see a couple of explosions down there. And then Myra, you hear at least 7 or 8, if not more, go off on your side. And when these explosions happen, almost immediately the entire ship starts to tilt to the left. And the runner that Valos and Decurro are standing on actually lifts out of the water.
Oh, shit.
Now, were we able to pull any of those off? Because it's been a while, and I don't remember what we did.
Yes.
Yeah, we got
so
all
you
of
two
them
actually, you two were able to clear all of the bombs off of your side.
Okay.
So that's why
we're all happy about it, too.
Yeah. They go for the high five, and then the ship's just like, whoa!
Both like clinging onto it. Oh, shit!
So speaking of, I would like both of you to either give me a might or a speed check in order to basically keep your balance. So you'll either be maintaining balance through your deftness or just grabbing onto something and holding it. And
we trained in balance.
Oh, yeah. And we will be setting this at a 5.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Well, so I'm not super familiar with the system, so I have an edge, so I can spend 1 and it's free, right? So that brings it down
to a 4.
Brings it down to a 4, and I am specialized in balance. So that bring down by 2, another 2.
Yep. So that brings it down to 2.
So if you have an edge, you spend 3 points, but it only costs you 2.
Yeah, it only costs 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yep.
All right. So it's a 5 to start. You said.
Yes.
All right, so I'm at a 4, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and I'll do a spend myself.
I rolled a 7, so
there you go, barely.
Yeah. So he looks over to Decurro and he's like, I think we got it. We're clear on this side. And then the boat goes and he just like flies against the hull, like reaches out a hand and like grabs part of the fucking strut and kind of like swings out over the water and then back out onto the pontoon.
I dropped it down from a 5 to a 3, and I rolled an 11, so I hit it. And
nice.
I think I'm just kind of as the boat lifted up. I fell down on my stomach on top of the support, and I got my arms and my legs around it. I'm just holding on for dear life, like, oh, father!
Very nice. I like it. All right, and so now we have Milo and Myra as well. So you guys are probably only about 15, 20 feet away from each other at this point. And Milo, because you are under the overhang and you have a handful of barrels around you, and it's a ship, so they're smart enough to tie all that stuff down or secure it in some way so the barrels aren't just, and the cargo isn't just sliding all over the place in case of, a storm or a pirate attack. So you will not need to give me a check. Because it would be very easy for you to brace yourself to something.
Perfect.
However, Myra, you are free on the top of the deck. Nothing really near you to hold on to except for a couple of railings. So I will need either a might or speed check from you. However, it's going to be a fairly easy one. So we'll set this at a 3 because you are standing on deck and there are a couple of things around you that you could actually grab onto.
Okay. We're going to try and just roll the dice at the level 3 here.
Sounds good.
Ooh, and I got a 10.
Oh, look at you guys.
Look at this.
Yeah. We're gonna call you guys the bare minimum crew. I like it. Yeah, so you're able to kind of reach a hand out and grab onto the railing of the staircase. So it kind of braces you as the entire ship begins to tilt and wane. So what do you guys want to do at this point? Do you want to take any actions for safety, or are you just kind of going along with the ride?
Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say if the boat actually stabilizes at any point, which I know it's going up on its side, I'm probably gonna try to jump back down to the deck and see if I can help anyone else.
Oh, you're so nice.
Yeah, that Valos was thinking the same thing. So like, you look up and start to go, and then Valos like nods to you and starts like climbing up, shimmying up the strut to get up onto the deck in case it comes back down as well. You don't want to be that close to the water. So
we all know what happened with the Titanic. We know that it's going to stall, then it's going to start going down. So we have a limited amount of time to start saving people.
Yeah, we're shimmying it up, and then also because we want to try to find out where Myra was because she went below decks the last time that we saw. So we want to try to that's important for for Decurro to be able to have her around. So
look at you.
Myra is not going to be so nice. She sees Milo over there in his nice little spot between the barrels. Is going to go join him.
All right. In that case, I will actually need a speed check from you in order to get over there.
Okay.
This will be another 3.
All right.
Speed or might, whichever one you would like to go with.
18.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look at you actually pounce your way over there.
like a I was gonna say cat, but it's more like snake.
You're a snake.
I like it.
Slithery snake.
Like a lizard.
Yes.
Like a little basilisk. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So you slither your way over to Milo, bracing yourself against a couple of barrels alongside him.
Hi. You don't look in good shape, my friend.
Nope, pretty beat up. As I'm like scraggly holding on to like the ropes tying down these barrels. Have you seen my jacket? My jacket was somewhere around here.
Oh no! What's a Milo without his jacket?
I know.
Do you want me to
the
use
guy in a white shirt.
Stop your bleeding.
Am I bleeding? I don't remember. I know I took a couple hits.
You're probably. Well, I think most of the hits you actually took were of that screech that the bats let out.
Oh yeah. I took 2 points of damage. It looks like so.
Still blood trickling from his ears.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll just hang out with you if you don't mind.
It was fine with me. There's plenty of ropes around.
What the hell are rasters doing here?
I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder if it's all connected to that artifact.
I mean, it's a long shot. It could be they could just want all of the stuff.
Or your one special thing. Is someone working on righting the ship? Do you think?
No.
Probably.
Oh, sorry.
I assumed you were talking to me.
Yes.
I assume so, but I've been on these barrels since the attack, so
We'll just see what happens.
All right. So actually, as you're going, you feel the ship as it's leaned this way. You now feel that while it isn't quite, it's at a pretty significant angle, probably about a good 30 degrees. And you actually feel it, slowly turning at this point in time.
Righting itself?
No. So actually, like the whole ship is actually turning to the left.
Oh. Ooh.
And after a handful of minutes of this, you hear some cracking and creaking of the hull, and the sails aren't really useful anymore. A lot of the rigging has gone, and there's still the artificial momentum that is created through the engines and such that's almost propelling this along. And as it continues for about 5 or 6 minutes, you suddenly feel a jolt throughout the entire ship, and a loud cracking and crashing sound comes from the forward part, and you all are kind of jolted and shaken to a stop.
Are there any lifeboats on this thing?
Yeah. You can actually, you guys, especially being on the side of the ship, can see a handful of them hanging off of the side. They've kind of been clacking and clamming, and
we'll start releasing some of them in off of the boat. And
well, you'll have to get yourself back up onto the ship.
Well, another thing I want to be looking for is I don't have any. I have that harpoon crossbow. If there's any of those things sticking out of the boat, I want to grab some of the ammunition.
Oh yeah, sure. You actually probably could find a couple of the guys that you had kicked off. They were pulling these things out of like large sacks, and so one of the sacks actually got kind of caught on the pontoon, and so you could probably find a handful of them inside that.
Okay, what's a handful? Like 6?
Sure.
Okay, 6. And one of those actually I just rip out of the side of one of the walls, and as I do, it releases a jacket that was stuck. And this is a nice jacket. I'll just hold on to it just in case.
All right. So what are you doing with the harpoon gun?
Well, I'm gonna just strap it to my back, and I mean, I want to start working my way to try to find Myra. That's kind of like that's what's on my mind right now.
Sounds good.
Valos, I'm going after Myra.
All right, seems like a good plan. Hopefully she made it out from under deck. Check up on the deck, and I'll see if I can find Milo.
I was going to check it under the deck first, but I think that's probably better. I'm going to check on top of the deck first, and then I bounding off, climbing whatever I have to do to get to the deck.
Right before you take off, I'm like, how long do you think this thing can float? You've been on the ship before. You think we're seaworthy?
Valos, it's gonna float for as long as it needs to, and then I bound off.
He shakes his head and he continues climbing.
All right, and now this thing actually, in its original shape, probably would have been somewhat difficult to climb up. I'm guessing you're trying to climb up like one of the supports of the pontoon that attaches it to the ship, and so originally it would have been difficult to climb up at such an angle, especially on a large metal tube. However, because the entire ship is tilted, it's kind of almost flat. So it's just kind of like going across a large balance beam. Which for the two of you, as long as you kind of hold on and shimmy your way across, is pretty easy. So it'll take you, half a minute or so, but you can eventually just make your way right across.
Will we run into any of the lifeboats on the way?
No. It would be kind of silly for them to put a lifeboat where the pontoon is. But once you're on the ship,
like as we get up on top of it, right?
Yeah, yep. So
okay. Ignorant question: what is a pontoon?
Have you ever seen Waterworld? Have you seen Moana?
Oh, yes. I was just gonna say Moana.
There we go, Moana. So you know how when they have like the main little boat and then they have like the small thing that juts off to the side to provide support?
Yes.
That.
Okay.
Except these ones are like 50 feet long and like 8 feet wide. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I asked. I'm trying to envision it.
All right. So yeah, you guys shimmy your way across, and you are on the deck, and you can actually very easily, even though there's not a lot of people up on top deck right now. Either a handful of them fell off when the whole ship kind of tilted, but the majority of them, with the large bats and bird creatures swooping about, what crewmen weren't attempting to defend the ship ran, and most of the other people, the passengers that had found themselves stuck up top, very quickly made their way down. So it's pretty easy to spot Myra and Milo hanging out against a couple of crates.
Nice. Head right over.
Well, that's convenient.
Perfect. I see you made it out, Myra. That's great news. Milo, where's your jacket?
I think that's it in your hand.
Oh, weird. Here you go. I throw it to him.
All right, I put my jacket on. And
right,
my
let's go.
composure comes back.
We have to get our artifact, and we have to get it onto a lifeboat, and we have to get off the ship.
Well, Milo, where's Draggart? Is he still up top?
Last I saw.
All right, I'm gonna go see if I can find him.
All right, I'll just hang here by the barrels.
All right, so Valos, you're going to the helm in order to check up on the captain.
Yep.
Milo, you're hanging by the barrels. Myra, what are you doing?
I will go with Decurro and go help with the barrel.
Sounds good. All right. So Decurro, you're heading down to the cargo hold to check on the cargo.
Well, let me ask you a question first.
Yes.
The cargo hold.
Yes.
Where is it now? Now that the boat is up on its side and sort of just stalled out, what I wanted to try to do was to get a lifeboat in the water and then somehow get our artifact into the lifeboat. Like even if it's through, because the ship's going to start sinking. I'm convinced it's just going to start going down. So even if I have to like blow a hole in the hull, I want to try to sort of figure out where that's going to be so I can just kind of toss the thing out. Does that make sense?
It does, actually. And luckily, someone's already taken care of blowing holes in the hole for you.
That's what I was... Perfect. Well, then, if that's the case, I'm just going to kind of like go find a hole whereabouts it would be and just kind of like I'll set up a life raft right underneath the hole in the hull and just kind of jump right in the hole and just look around.
Sounds good. So in that case, do you want to go on the left side of the hole of the ship that's been, kind of submerged into water, but is closer to the water, or do you want to go to the right side that is out of the water but out of the water.
Trying to use my knowledge of the ship to determine what would be the hole that's closest to my cargo.
Everything would probably shift, right? As the boat tilted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
so I mean, if
everything figure out which would be the best one.
Yeah, I mean, if everything shifted, most likely everything kind of slid to the left. So in theory, most of the cargo would be closer to the left side of the ship now.
So I tell Myra, okay, let's go, and then I just bound off impossibly, just like you probably can't follow me, but I'm heading off towards that hole, one of the blasted holes in the hull.
Who says I can't follow you, bitch? I'm going.
He's assuming you're following him.
Well, she is.
Let's go.
Yes.
All right. So you said that you want to drop one of the lifeboats first.
Yeah, one of the lifeboats, and I want to, if possible, I'd like there to be a rope. And I can keep the rope with me as I jump in the hole so it's not floating away.
Absolutely. I mean, all the lifeboats are kind of supported with a rigging over the side of the ship with a rope in the front and a rope in the back. And once you jump in, it's pretty clear how it works, where there's basically a lever and you like throw the lever up.
Sweet.
And the whole ship, the whole boat just drops down into the water, which actually isn't as far of a drop as it normally would be. It's probably only about 20 feet.
Okay, it's about 20 feet. That's not that bad. All right, we can do this.
Maybe I'll just stay up here and wait for you.
All right, you stay up here, wait for me.
I'll guard the hole.
Guard the hole. That's a good idea.
Yes.
And just make sure the boat. I mean, I'm gonna have the rope, but just watch the boat, and then I'll guide this. You guide this up out of the hole. I'm gonna get it up, and then we're gonna see what's going on. So, and I hop in.
Wait.
Now what? I'm already in the hole.
I'm screaming down to you.
Yeah, I know. I can hear you.
All right. I am screaming encouragement, and it says, Decurro, you have this. You are meant for greater things. And I'm going to do encouragement, which modifies the task difficulty by 1 step. And defense armor skill will do your skill of. Oh, that's an appropriate skill that you're going to be using.
Well, I'm probably going to try to. I don't know if I can just lift. I can't lift this thing myself. I'm going to try to put together some sort of a rigging where I can hoist it up.
Your skill of appropriate knowledge skill for hoisting this bad boy up.
Hoist rigging.
Nice.
Hoistering.
All right. So Myra's staying top deck, and Decurro, you guys kind of have this conversation. Decurro's like, I got this, and flicks the switch, and you go boom down into the water. And as soon as you hit the water, you actually notice that there are several holes blown out on the side of the hole. And the ship has tilted enough that water is actually inside the ship. And you see that, there's some cracks in broken bits that are kind of giving away a little bit. And you hear that constant brittle sound going on. And it looks like water is just kind of waving into the ship at this point. And you can see like boxes of cargo that kind of float, and some of it's like staying afloat, some of it's floating for a little bit and then sinking down into the water. And you can see inside, you can basically see directly into the cargo hold at this point. And you see about a third of the way into the water so far, just kind of sitting there, is your obelisk, your shipment.
I'm going to start securing it with some rope and, tossing more rope around some poles, and just in a way that I can manipulate the thing out of there. I'll just start like pulling like pulley systems and shit like that.
All right.
There has to be some left over from because that's how they probably got it in here. So I'm just using what's available.
All right. Go ahead and give me a would probably be intellect first for looking around, for observing your surroundings.
Okay.
A perception of sorts.
Oh, rolled an 18. Oh, I was going to do effort, and I'm like, nah, let's just see what happens. No, 18.
Go for it. All right. So you kind of row yourself over, and you hop out of the boat into the water, and at this point, it's probably about knee deep where you are.
I totally missed that. I'm in the boat, so the boat was able to get in there.
Yes, yeah, you're able to actually row the boat into the hole.
Perfect. Okay.
And you start to, you're like, okay, rig, and you're like, you have a couple of pieces of rope in the couple of lengths of rope in the boat itself, and so you're like, okay, and you look around for something else to use, and you see probably about 4 of these birdmen in the hole as well, that are placing these blackish, large, unformed crystals onto various cargo.
Do they see me yet?
They don't look like they have.
What cargo are they putting it on? Just it's nothing noteworthy.
Well, you had done a walkthrough with Milo earlier, right? Because when you had caught the guy who was marking stuff.
Oh yes, right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I believe Decurro did a walkthrough with Milo as well. So just using, because that's been fairly recently, looking through there in the you recognize some of the emblems, and you're like, oh, that was some of the cargo that was secretly marked, and some of that as well. And you look around and you see a handful of these black crystals already on a few pieces of cargo, and you assume that they are relatively the same or similar ones that had been marked by this guy.
Is there one on mine, on the obelisk?
Not yet.
Is there one in reach of where we are right now?
No, they haven't really made it over to you yet. They're probably still about 35, 40 feet off.
Right. The priority is the obelisk. I'm going to get that secured onto the boat, and then at the very least, getting Myra and the artifact out of the ship.
Okay. So you begin to rig this thing up, and you're tying ropes to it and trying to get it. And you forget exactly how large and heavy this thing is. It was what did we say? Probably like 15 feet.
Yeah,
long.
It was big. Yep.
And it took 4 to 5 fairly strong men to just lift this thing just enough to get it onto some type of platform to get it on a wagon. So you're kind of trying to rig this thing, and as you kind of wench the pulley, you're pulling in the prow of the boat that you're in. The little dinghy basically is actually tilting down slightly every tug you give.
All right, easy. Does it look like it's not going to support the weight of it?
No, definitely not.
Oh, shit. Well, this isn't going to work, Myra. This is not going to work.
Oh, remember, she's up top. You're alone down
She's
here.
She's up top. I thought she was in the boat for some reason. I thought I told her to get in the boat. All right, so it's not going to work. All
right. And we'll say, how about you start to kind of look around, almost panicked.
Yeah, I'm looking around for, I'm like, maybe not so much panic, just like, all right, I need something else. I need something else.
Sense, yeah, absolutely. And you look around, and you see the 4 birdmen that had been going through the cargo. There's now a 5th that kind of comes up from behind them, and he has a small metal rod, and he goes over and jabs it, uses that to jab at the black crystal that has been attached to one of the crates, and there's a small burst of energy that comes from the crystal, and this crate that had been, probably 3/4 submerged begins to float, and to the point where it doesn't even become buoyant. The bottom of the crate sits on the top of the water, and he just kind of gives it a push, and it begins to float on the top of the water. And he goes to another one that they had placed, and again with the stick, jabs it, and this container begins to float up, and he gives that a push as well.
All right, I want to try to move into a position where I can get one of these things.
All right. Do you want to kind of stealthily steal one that's already been put on cargo, or do you want to go after the guys who are currently placing them on cargo?
Well, I'm going to try. They're within close proximity of each other, correct?
Yeah, the guy that's jabbing them with the rod is probably about 20 feet behind them, and
okay,
those guys are about at this point about away from you.
All right, I'm going to try to get into a position to grab one that's already been jabbed, so that I can just try to take it off without them noticing, and then scurry away.
So you want to go like behind him?
Yes.
So like behind the guy with the rod and steal something that's already floating?
That's all. All right, so there's nothing that's closer to me where it'd be easier for me to grab it, or I'm going to be sneaking.
Yeah, so at this point,
you know what? That probably makes the most sense, to sneak in behind him and try to grab one of the crates that already has it on it.
Sounds good. So one of the ones that's already been engaged and is floating. All right, sounds good. So that's going to be, give me a fairly easy speed check. It's going to be, let's set it at a 3, and it's for your stealth. Figure between the noise of the hull and the creaking of the ship and the sound of the ocean rushing in and everything, you have some decent cover. So you're basically just trying to lay low at this point.
Okay, I'm going to do effort because I want this to happen. Oh, man, I'm getting low on speed. Oh, that's fine. All right, so I'm lowering it down to a 2. Oh my God, I rolled a 3. No good. Okay. All right, let's do it.
All right. So as you begin to go, you realize you can't take the boat because that's going to be too obvious, especially since these guys are getting a little too close now. So you're like, all right, I'm going to swim for it. It's really easy, straight line, right to the edge, grab that. And then you realize that you kind of stopped taking swimming lessons when you were like 8. And so you're still like doggy paddle style. Up into the water and you like, splash, 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 splash.
They all turn and look at me like, what are you doing?
All 5 of them, like, bodies don't even move. Their heads like just jut to the side to give it that little kind of bird-like quick turn, and then one of them just goes, and all of them just begin to look at you, and they 3 of them pull out those harpoon guns. And why not go ahead and give me an initiative?
Initiative. Oh my good God!
See if you can beat them.
All right, roll a 10, but I'm trained in initiative, so that's a 13.
Ooh, look at you. All right, and they rolled, wow, I rolled really low. That's 5. So
I like it.
All right, so you go first at least. So 3 of these guys pull out those harpoon guns and begin to aim them at you. Meanwhile, you are floating about 35 feet or so away from them.
How deep is the water?
It's At this point, probably about 10 or so feet deep, but as because the whole ship is an incline, as you get out, it pretty steadily drops off.
Okay, out of Cyphers. I just dive underwater, and I'm just going to start swimming as fast as I can, just to get sort of like I want to get out of their sight, and then I'm just going to sort of swim erratically so that I get maybe even to the point where I'm like outside of the boat, moving along the outside to get closer to the crates where I want to be.
I like it. Go ahead and give me a might check, and we're going to set this at a 4 because you are actually going against the current of the water rushing into the ship.
Got it.
So this will determine kind of how far you're able to get.
All right, I'm going to use a level of effort. I'll lower it down to a 3. This is going to be enough. Oh, I rolled a 20.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, you actually go ahead and give me a of some sort. So you're able to just plow through. You get like under the water and almost use a reversed current to push you.
Yeah.
But
So
you go ahead and give me something extra.
all right, just stop me if this gets nuts, but. So I dive under the water. I swim against the current, and I get outside the ship, and they just unload. They just fire, and the harpoons hit and like kind of blow out more of the bottom of the ship, which speeds up the process, and it knocks them off balance. But it also changes the current in a way where the crate just drifts right over to me, and now I have it.
Nice. I like it. So yeah. So you guys actually, up top, you can suddenly feel now the whole ship has kind of come to a stop at this point, and there is still that creaking and waning of everything going on. But suddenly, all of you guys hear a crack, and the whole ship gives a shudder and drops a few feet to the point where you're actually. Like Milo is sitting on the ground right now next to a crate, and you actually feel the ship separate from you for a moment. You slam your ass back down on the ground, and Myra has to brace herself against the railing. And Valos, you're up top now at the helm, dealing with a very panicked Pivel. And when this happens, the captain actually kind of slides a little bit, and you have to grab him and like brace him down. But Valos, Decurro at least, you are able to grab a hold of this floating cargo and pull yourself up, and you reach up and grab this softball sized
grab the whole
crystal
thing.
Yep. And you pull it off, and as soon as you do, the glowing stops, and the entire thing just goes and sinks down into the water.
I just started swimming my ass off back towards my cargo.
Sounds good. And so the 3 guys that were shooting at you, and it was that very Indiana Jones-esque moment where you just see underwater and the harpoons flying past you.
They're going.
Yeah. And so you resurface and you turn around, and those 3 guys have slid into the water. Their harpoon cod's gone. They're trying to just frantically claw their way up back onto any kind of stable surface, and their feathers just absolutely soaked. They're cawing away. But the 2 other guys now, one of them's trying to kind of jump cargo up around the water to you, and the other one has pulled out a dagger, and he basically just flips it around and hucks this thing at you. So you're going to have to make a defense of 2.
Would you say that it's dark?
Yes.
All right. I'm specialized in speed defense and dark.
Ooh, very nice.
So what's the start target?
2.
All right. So I dodge it.
So
specialized.
yeah, 0.
Yeah.
So very nice. Yep. So you throw this thing, and while it appears that his vision is actually very good in the dark. So is yours, and so you're able to kind of see this thing and duck under the water. So you kind of hear it hit the top and very quickly loses momentum and just kind of floats down by you.
Oh, I grab it. Can I grab it?
Sure, go ahead.
It's like a throwing knife.
Yeah.
Perfect. I have 11 throwing knives now.
Yay! All right, and it's your turn.
I'm getting
so-
the. I'm grab. I'm yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I will also include Myra at this point. You can probably, you're kind of right up there, so you can probably hear all of the commotion going down underneath, even above all the regular sounds of the ship. And then all of a sudden, this giant jolt occurs. Is there anything that you would like to do, jumping down below, or just taking cover, saying "fuck it"? Decurro is on his own.
Nope, I'm gonna say nice things to Decurro. I'm gonna offer him encouragement on his defense rolls and say,
Very nice.
yes, you've got this, Decurro. I smell the wet bird from a pear. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Get out of there quickly. And so I'll be using encouragement, which will modify his next defense task by 1 step.
All right. And Milo, exactly what are you doing at this point?
So you said that the boat went back level, right?
No, it is still at an angle.
It is still at an angle.
It increased in angle slightly, but also dropped. So like the whole ship just kind of dropped a few feet.
Oh, okay. So from my position, can I actually see what's going on, or am I just kind of tucked behind the box?
Yeah, probably. You can actually, well, you can't see Decurro because he's underneath. You can see Myra kind of hanging over the edge, yelling at something.
Yelling nice words.
Right?
Yelling nice words.
Angrily.
All right. I will.
Yes.
I will claw my way over then to the open hole.
Sounds good. That sounds gross.
That sounds awesome.
You gonna plow through that hole too, Decurro?
All right, so yeah, you actually see now Myra over there, and are you going to attempt to get down into the water, or are you also just kind of hanging up top?
No, I'm just hanging up top.
Sounds good. All right, you make your way over next to Myra at that point. Valos.
Yes.
What is your deal? What are you attempting to do up there?
So I guess Pivel's sort of blocking the way, kind of like frantically, hopping around and doing his thing. And, he's like, I need Dragger. And like, he's hopping. No, I have to. And like, he just stops. He like grabs both shoulders and he just like pushes him to the right. And then he walks past them and he's like, Dragger, how long is this thing going to stay afloat? I imagine something like this has never happened before.
Well, at this point, too, Draggert's pretty much passed out at the ground.
Oh, is he like that bad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he had been slapped around a couple of times by one of the bat things. So he was screeched at. And then also it took one of its wings and just pummeled him to the ground. So he is like knocked the F out.
Okay. So, all right. So then Pivel's doing his thing. I'd move him and step forward and see that he's like passed out. And I turn around and I grab him by the shoulder and I'm like, we've got to get Draggart off the ship. Get a couple of guys, get a lifeboat down, get him off the boat. Fuck. How long do you think we have? I mean, you've been on this boat a long time.
Go ahead and give me, let's see, for almost an intimidation-esque check. I'll leave it up to you. You can either do might to kind of strong arm him into action, or you can use an intellect to psychologically punch him in the head.
I think you just go might. I'm not going to spend anything. I'm just going to go straight roll.
All right, sounds good. It's going to be not incredibly easy. We'll set this at a At a 3.
Then I fail. I rolled a 6.
Oh, son of a... while you're up there and you're kind of trying to shake Pivel into action, you literally have him by the shoulders, and you're just like, come on, like we got to get him up, we got to go all this, and Pivel, almost like wide-eyed, like glassy stared, looking 100 feet past you. It's just like, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't. I don't know what's going on.
I just want to slap him.
Fuck Pivel.
And as soon as you do, he like shocks back, looks at you, and then just like shrugs his shoulders. And when he does, he almost like grease slips out from your hands and just starts booking it to the edge, like down the incline, like to the edge of the ship.
He's motherfucker. So he looks around. Are there any of the crew that are still up here that are like ambulatory? Or is everybody...
there's probably a handful of them that are attempting to get things under control.
All right, so I just start yelling, I'm like, you and you, get over here now.
All right, and they run over to you. And one of them immediately sees Dragon and like grabs him and tries to like prop him up.
Yeah, get the captain off the ship. I know they say the captain's supposed to go down with the ship, but you guys are going to need him. We need to get him out of here, get him secured.
Sounds like you're the captain now.
Have you guys ever been attacked by these things before? What I mean, this should be a pretty safe area, shouldn't it?
And so one of them, the one who has propped him up, he just looks at you and he's like, got this, and he like tosses Draggart up onto his shoulders and starts to like he's fireman carrying him, but at the same time he's like on his ass, like scooting his way down because the slope is so great at this point. And the other one now has like grabbed and is trying to kind of like pull it back down, and he's talking over his shoulder and he's like, I have no fucking idea what these things are.
God damn it. So he makes a beeline, he runs back down, he goes to the room because all of his shit's in the room, Decurro's shit's in his room. He's like, his internal monologue is like, well, I guess that's where Myra was when.
Don't forget my shit. I need my shit.
So, like, his internal monologue is like, if the ship is going down, we've lost the crate. We don't want to lose the rest of the stuff. So as he's like running down the steps, he goes back and he runs over to where Milo is, and he's like, "Come on, we've got to get our stuff. We got to get off the ship. I don't know that we can salvage anything, but we don't want to lose what we brought. So come with me. Let's get our crap and get out of here."
All right.
All right.
And remember, Myra is standing right there as well, and both of them are just kind of like looking over the railing.
Oh, God damn it. That's right. She's up there too. So I'm like, come on, you guys, let's get out of here. We got to grab our stuff and go. Where the hell's Decurro?
He's doing something.
That is exactly when Decurro comes out of the hole of the ship with the device, got the levitation thing attached to it, throws it on the ship. That's, you see, where's Decurro? And that's when I come out of the boat. Is that? No?
Yeah, that's perfect.
You smell like
Ahoy!
chicken shit.
Ahoy!
The fuck are you doing down there?
Everything
smell like shit.
According to plan.
I probably don't even want to know.
Well, so I will say, remember when you pulled the crystal off of the crate, that it stopped glowing.
Mm-hmm.
Immensely sank. And so if you do try to make your way back over to your obelisk, you take that crystal and you put it on.
Yes.
And it is not glowing. So
did you just stick it on the ship?
Oh, okay. So all right. So okay. I thought so. I put the crystal on, but it needs the rod, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I was under the impression that I was getting the rod and the crystal.
Oh no, another person, like one of the birdmen has the rod.
So it's
You
only one
idiots.
rod.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, I'm not floating out of the ship then.
Okay.
All right. So it's not glowing. All right. You know what? We can come back to that then. We'll
So if you come, well, I don't know if we.
Well, how about
we want to get metagames or no?
Yeah. How about we'll play it this way? So you have the crystal. Let's say that you have yet to actually make it back over to the thing.
Yes.
We'll say that as soon as Valos is like, "Where the hell's Decurro?" and you just hear from below, because at this point he's only about 15 feet.
Yeah.
You're only about 15 feet off the water, and you just hear like this. And Decurro like comes up out of the water, like holding this crystal up.
Okay, that's better. Yeah. Sorry, that was my fault. I thought I
that
had
worked.
the.
No worries.
Okay. Look, I got this thing. It's gonna help us, and then I'll slam it on the obelisk, and then it's all right. Never mind. I got to get the other thing, and then I'd probably dive back into the water to head back. Yeah.
Gross. In your teeth. You got a feather. You got a feather.
That's gross. Thanks. I'll throw it to the side, dive back under the water. All right, I'll be back, and then I got to go after that rod.
What is he doing? What?
I don't know, but it smells like wet chicken.
So now he's torn. He's like, go get the shit and get off the boat. Decurro's got some kind of a plan, which usually doesn't work very well for anybody. But we're in sort of dire straits right now.
Yeah.
He's got a plan?
He always says he has a plan, but it never works that well. Look, if you guys go back to the rooms, go get our stuff. I'll go down and see what he's doing. It's probably nothing that's good.
I'll help you hold the stuff, Milo, but I don't know what you have.
I have all my stuff on me. Mine stuff's in my shoulder bag.
I was gonna say, I imagine Milo has like 6 trunks. Like,
no.
He has 6 trunks, but it's all the same jacket.
Oh, no, it's perfect. We're gonna go down and get a spare jacket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he found one guy that sold this jacket, and he bought the whole stock of them.
So Valos like grabs the rope and swings up over the side, and he's like, Myra, just make sure you grab all the stuff that's in our room, the backpacks and all that jazz. And then I guess meet us back up here.
Jazz. No.
And then he will take the rope down to the water, and I float in, swim in, kind of see what Decurro's doing.
All right. So at this point, then you see Decurro kind of swimming towards the obelisk, towards your cargo, and you see one at this point, two of these crowmen frantically soaked, trying to scurry themselves out, and one of them is up still dry, and you see that he has this metal rod in his hand, and there's several other these black crystals that Decurro showed you, and he's taking that rod and just slamming like as fast as he can, just going doosh, 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 slamming these crystals. And every time he does, whatever they're attached to floats up to the top of the surface of the water, and he just pushes as many of them as he can towards the opening of the cargo hold.
Am I near Decurro, or do I have to make a check to try to find him, or are we close
no, you
enough
can very
quarters?
clearly see him. He's probably about 15 feet off from you right at this point.
I'm dog paddling.
Yeah.
I will.
You can just walk and catch up to me.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'll try to stealthily sort of swim over, although I'm sure he's probably going to give us away, and get up behind him and be like, So I see all that happening, right? I'm assuming.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I'm like, we've got to get the rod, and we've got to get those crystals on the ship.
Ooh. See, I was just thinking one crystal, but you're thinking all crystals?
Well, at least one. We've got to get a crystal. We've got to get that rod to keep the ship up.
Oh, the ship. See, I'm thinking our payday, but you want to do the ship. You know what? Okay.
If we keep the ship up, we keep the payday.
Well, I have the payday's got. If I can get the rod, I can keep the payday. The payday's fine. I've got a crystal on the payday. I'm saying that I actually like your idea, so let's do it.
And he pauses because he's not used to that.
We keep the ship up, and that's good. We save people, so let's do that.
Yes. All right. You go left. I'll go right.
All right.
Try to be stealthy and focus everything on the guy with the rod.
Decurro goes right.
I go left. Is that the plan? It's probably not. He waits to see which way he's going to go, and then Valos goes the other way.
Very nice. All right. So what is your approach to this guy?
I am going to try to be as stealthy as possible. Like if he's like leaning left to like stab a crate, I'll try to get behind his field of vision. If he turns back around, I'll kind of like pause, like float next to a crate and wait for him to like turn again. If it's not as easy as that, and he's just one direction, and guys are slapping shit, and he's just like,
Did they break up?
He'll try to work around the guy's field of vision.
I want to say that we've done maneuvers like this before, and Decurro's going to try to just do a distraction so that you can get in there and I'd like to do it in a way that it would give him like an asset towards whatever he's going to do, so it's just one step easier. So I'll probably take out the harpoon crossbow and just start, firing, and I'll probably fire one because it's a reload, and then I'll just start firing like knives. Just hey, look at me, it's the guy who stole the crystal.
Awesome. So we'll say you can use your action basically almost like a help.
Yep.
To lower the difficulty of Valos's check.
Absolutely, that's what I'm doing. Hey, nice. Bergman, I've got another one of your crates, and
Can you do that again?
Oh, perfect. I'm gonna make that my ringtone.
I can clip that for you.
That's the second time I almost spit beer on my laptop.
Very nice. Okay, so
at least it's beer this time,
right?
Oh shit!
Yeah, this laptop's disgusting.
So gross.
So yeah, let's say then. So you go ahead and cause a distraction for Valos. Valos, you will be making a speed stealth check in order to get around. It was going to be a 3, however, Decurro helps you drop that down to a 2.
All right. Oh! I am also trained in stealth. So does that drop it another 1?
Yes.
So I'm at a 1?
Yes.
I will make a straight roll.
My plan is going perfectly.
I can't read that.
Motherfucker.
2. I rolled a 2.
Oh.
Oh,
now the dice have
do
their.
you have XP? Do you have XP?
I don't think we've gotten any XP since we've been playing.
I have some.
Yeah, I've given you guys XP.
We got to re-roll this.
I never wrote it down if we did.
Okay, I'll re-roll.
I'm pretty sure I gave you guys a couple. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to make a note that I'm spending one. Fucking hell. Hate these dice. 13. All right.
Yeah. There we go.
So like
he
swims over to like where the crates are kind of like together, like, and it looks like a little bit more stable. So he like starts to reach up to like pull himself up, and it starts to shift, and he feels like it's gonna go, and he just kind of like lets go, and then he's like fuck, and then he like looks over for like another place, and he kind of like pushes it a little bit first, and feels that it's a little bit more stable, and then he climbs up and gets around.
I like it. Yeah. All right. So in that case, now this guy is going to attempt to. He has his crossbow that he pull his harpoon gun that he pulls out in one hand, but it's kind of awkward because he also has the rod in the other, so it's hard to kind of shoot with one hand properly. So he basically just like lets a shot go, but it kind of flies off wildly around the corner.
Oh, you missed! Yeah. That shot sucked, Birdman.
So it is Decurro's turn.
I'm gonna just
shoot him.
Well, now that you've said to shoot him, let me think of something else to do. No, I'm just kidding. I will pull the harpoon that he just shot out of the wall, and I'll load it. I'll shoot back at him with a harpoon. Okay, crossbow shot. We just like a speed roll with that. I am not going to take. All right, I'm just going to do it straight up. I rolled a 19, my friends.
Nice.
Isn't that a minor effect?
It's a minor effect or plus 3 damage.
Whichever one you want.
So I think what I'll do is I'll stick with the 4 damage, and I'll say that he drops the rod and it gets close to Valos. Can I say that? Is that good?
You absolutely can. Yes.
It's like right in reach of Valos. I shot his hand.
I like it. You actually like shoot his arm, and it flies back, and his grip releases the rod, and it goes flying towards Valos.
Nailed it.
All right. I don't know if I want to do that. So who's up?
You.
It's me. Okay. I will.
I shot him, like you said. Now grab the rod.
I will attempt to grab the rod.
Yes.
Do I need to make a roll, or is it?
Dude, it's a fucking inanimate object laying in front of you. Come on.
Okay. Well, but it's combat. I'm just, whatever. Can I also? So I'm still kind of like, kind of climbing up, so it like falls in front of me. So he just like grabs it and sticks it like in his fucking belt. Nice. Can I also attack the guy, or I don't like action economy much, or what's is that an incidental action?
Yeah, do it up.
All right. So I am going to attack him unarmed. So I will climbing up. I grab the rod. I guess he turns and sees me, and I just kind of from a crouch launch myself up with a big swing right to his fucking bird face.
Like a pounce.
And then I rolled a 10.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's plenty.
Sweet. All right, and it's 4 damage for my unarmed attack because I have no need for weapons.
Awesome.
Ooh. Do it up, then take it away.
Oh, that's it?
That's
it? so he grabs the rod, he runs up, he just like launches himself up as hard as he can because the guy looks kind of big and he's, like bird-like or whatever, and just connects like right like where the beak connects to the head, kind of like where like the jaw would be, and just fucking punches him as hard as he can, and he just hears like an audible crack. This guy's like, and just kind of like falls and like slumps and kind of like rolls down the crates.
I like
perfect.
It.
We're all eating good tonight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and then I'll just look to see where the bird. Yeah, see where the other guys are at.
All right. So there's only at this point now a couple of guys kind of getting out of the water, and they see that you now have the rod, and so they begin to just run themselves, like scrambling through some of the cargo up to the dry area, and they're kind of trying to shoot for one of the holes that's been blasted into the cargo, into the side of the ship up there.
All right, so I let them go, and I yell to Decurro, I'm like, get a couple of those crystals, get them on the ship, and then I will make my way down and into the water so I can, once he gets them on the ship, I can jab him with the rod.
Mm-hmm.
I will do the thing. I'll just start grabbing up crystals and slamming them onto the ship.
Sounds good. And so you guys go ahead and do that. And you basically like Decurro puts like 3 crystals like within a few feet of each other, and Valos runs over, and you're just like, do, and they all 3 of them light up, and there is no change in the ship.
Fuck. More?
Let's do this. Do the artifact first. Do the obelisk. Let's make sure that can float so we can get it on the boat. And then if we have time, we'll start doing more crystals. Is that fair? Is that a fair deal?
Yeah, sure. Get something on the artifact.
It's on it. It's already there. I put it there earlier.
He just reaches out like real slow, goes boop.
All right. So you guys, rush over and you boop the crystal on the obelisk, and it's at this point now, this thing is like 7/8 underwater, and so you actually have to like reach under the water in order to hit the crystal, and it rises up, but only about the top part seems buoyant. The rest of it's at this point now it starts to float, but 3/4 of it is underwater still, and just the top part of it's floating along the water.
So we could tow it then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think as long as it's staying up, we're good. And then I'd start under Valos's direction, putting crystals to see if we can keep the boat up.
Yeah, it looks like it's affected by the weight. The artifact is heavy. We need more crystals on the ship. Find out.
Yeah.
Push this out. Find whatever we can, and we'll slap as many of these things on here as we can.
All right. I'll lash the obelisk to the boat, and then kind of like give it a little, just get it out away from the ship, and then just searching for crystals.
All right, and so you find that you find actually like a bag. So there was about 8 crystals that had been placed so far, and you find a bag that has about 4 more of them in.
Is there any indication that if we put like all the crystals right next to each other, that it would sort of magnify the effect?
So far, the ones that you already placed were only like a couple of feet apart from each other, and it doesn't seem to have any type of magnification. Although that's on a fairly small scale, so there's really no.
Valos, this is a big ship. I'm all for doing this, but I have a feeling that these things aren't meant to keep entire ships afloat.
Well, I mean, we have the other pontoon. Maybe we just... Is there anything left of this one? Maybe we just get them on the pontoon.
Yeah, it's worth a shot, I guess. Start throwing them on the pontoon and start climbing out, I guess.
The thing's pretty ragged. About half of the pontoon is missing, but there's still some of it left at least.
All right.
And so,
do what I can.
All right. Go ahead and give me an intellect check. We're going to set this one kind of high. Let's go ahead and set this at a 6.
Are we both rolling or?
Nope. If you both want, if you want to do a combined effort, you can. So here's what we'll do. You pick a leader for it. We're going to wing this a little bit. So which one wants to lead this check?
What is the check for?
It is basically a check to use these ciphers in order to stabilize the ship. So it's using the knowledge that you've gained thus far and applying it to future use of these.
I don't. I mean, I'm at a straight 10, so it doesn't.
You rolled a 10?
Hey, don't underestimate yourself. A straight 10 is still very impressive.
No. I haven't. No, I didn't roll yet. No, my intellect is 10 with no edge. So I mean, I'm willing to spend. But
yeah, I mean, I'm willing to spend too. I mean, it's up to you. Who wants to make the roll? Because the only thing the only intellect things that I have are all inabilities: patience, willpower, and discipline.
Okay, so it's probably not you. So I tell you to do it, and you're like fumbling around, and you're like sticking them here, and you're like there, and I'm like,
and you're like, no, that's not right. No, just
get away.
Get away.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna have Valos go ahead and lead the check then, and then what we'll do is this is going to be a combined effort. So if either of you have any types of abilities or talents or backgrounds or anything like that that you believe you can apply to this, both will be valid.
Careful movement.
Decipher.
No, I don't. I literally have nothing that would help.
Get the gist of strange writing or codes.
Balance.
Climbing.
Oh, this is going to be a tough one then.
Yeah, it's going to suck.
I mean, I feel like if it's a combined check, I get no problem. I have 8 intellect. I can spend. I'll spend 3.
We'll do this then, because I've also set the bar so high for this, and because both Myra and Milo are basically right there as your viewing audience. I will allow them at any point that they wish to narratively join the fray if they so wish to.
They're laughing at us like, idiot! Look at these idiots.
I'm gonna use encouragement.
We were going back to the rooms to pick up stuff, so
we got that shit, but we already got it. Right?
GM's
we picked
call.
up that shit. We're on our way
Yeah,
back.
exactly. This has been a little bit of time.
They come out of the hold with like bags strapped all over them, and then like Valos and I are like, put it there. That looks good.
I'm gonna start swearing at you. Like
Nicely.
you idiots! Like, what are you doing? You know you can do better than this. You got this. And I'm gonna use encouragement nastily to bring it down a level.
Very nice. Okay, so that brings it down to a 5.
All right, I will spend a level of effort, so that'll bring us down to a 4.
Very
Can
nice.
I spend a level of effort too to bring it down?
Go ahead. Yeah, why not?
Right. Nice.
All right, so we're down to 3.
Yes. All right, so you can either go ahead and attempt something now, or if Milo thinks that he has something that he can throw into the mix.
Any sort of like engineering or any sort of like scientific.
Can I also just call them idiots?
I don't think that helps.
No mechanical benefit. I just want to gotta call you guys more.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything. So
No, not even anything in your knowledge banks or your background of sorts, dealing with strange ciphers.
Oh, you know what? I have a book on ancient magic. So let's go ahead and do that.
Perfect. I like that. Yeah. So all right. So we have managed as a group to drop this down from a 6 to a 2. So John, aka Low Rolls, go ahead and see what you got.
Here's hoping. I fucking rolled a 3.
Nice.
Damn it! Every single one of these fucking dice can.
I spend an XP to have you re-roll.
All right, let me get a whole new die.
No, don't do that. Use the one that you just rolled 3 on.
No, fuck those dice. Nope, new die. I rolled a fucking 3. God damn it!
That's so bad.
Oh, it's meant to be.
I'm willing to blow my last XP. To
no, don't. I mean, you've blown enough today. I will give an XP.
Don't make me keep rolling.
Yes, no. This is the thing right now. You are rolling.
Roll a 1.
This is what this is all about right now.
Roll a 1.
14.
Yay!
Yay! Woo! Good for
keep
you.
that one in the tray.
I had XP at some point, right? Because I have nothing in this paper.
At one point, he gave us all 3.
I'm pretty sure I gave you all XP. Yeah.
Oh, that does sound right. Yeah, because we were like 1 short of like a level thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get on to 2.
You start going. You've kind of placed these, and Milo is like barking out that it kind of looks like something similar to what he is to this this crystal that he read about, and so that you should space them out this much because they don't magnify, but they kind of do at the same time. And so you're kind of getting all this through, and it's a weight distribution thing, you freaking morons. And
not over there, put it over there.
Yeah. And so as Decurro is going through and placing these, finally Valos goes around and he's like, do, and you just light up a ton of them, and all of a sudden you hear this creaking and cawing of the ship, and one of the beams that's holding the pontoon, and now this thing's underwater too, so you guys actually are like going up and down from the water, like and so you guys are just spent at this point, and you finally come up and there's a creak and a moan, and you actually see the support that's attached to the ship begin to kind of like dust almost spurts from it. But then finally it gains hold, and the whole ship begins to slowly pitch back as the pontoon, that half of it that still is attached to the ship, begins to slowly raise up out of the water. And it doesn't quite make it all the way out. It's still sitting about a third submerged, but it's enough that the whole ship is slowly, is for the most part stable. However, you do see that there is still a handful of giant holes along the hull of it, which a couple of them are still taking on water, and the ship overall is sitting several feet lower in the water than it normally does. And as you look around, you actually realize now that the reason that the ship stopped is because there's basically this underwater rocky ridge that the entire ship has slammed into.
So we just... So we busted our balls to get the ship back up, and it's like run aground.
Yeah, basically.
Great. That's beautiful. We're all cheering. No, we did it. We did it, guys.
You did it.
We saved the ship. We did it.
You did. You did. You saved the ship.
We did.
Telling yourself that.
They can repair it. We can maybe like push off. It's not, it's not totally lost yet.
It's got to have some materials to patch things. Dragger is a smart captain. He's got this. We're going to be able to patch this ship up.
Well, hold on.
Can we just get the hell out of here?
Can I just look up and actually look over the ship and see if what we ran aground was actually fucking land?
So
we
you
just pulled
actually
into port.
Right.
Hey,
So
we
yeah,
made it.
you actually see that there is a like an underwater rock structure jutting out, and it does look to be natural, and probably about 50 to 60 feet off of that, you do see the shoreline of a small island.
Oh, perfect.
We did it.
Yeah. And by small, I mean
grab a
probably,
lifeboat, and I'll see you guys at shore.
yeah. The island itself is probably like a couple miles wide.
Solid ground.
So Valos is just like, he's like laying across the pontoon, like he's fucking spent.
Yeah. I'm pretty low on pools myself.
Yeah. He's like, so I'm assuming you like yelled down and be like, "Oh yeah, we're like, there's an island right here."
Yes.
I imagine Milo being like, "Guys, land ho? Is that what you said? Land ho? That's what I think. That's what."
So he kind of like pushes himself up on one arm and kind of like looks around. He looks at Decurro. He just kind of shakes his head and he's like, "As long as it doesn't sink, we can get people to the shore. They probably have shipwrights. They could try to fix the ship. I mean, we're not where we want to be, but things look stable, at least for now."
Yep. Yeah, the obelisk isn't going to sink. We're going to either have to help them or figure out how to get to where we're going ourselves, I guess.
But we're pretty stable right now, right?
Yeah.
Is there one of those dead chicken creatures around?
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
Deck is probably littered with them. We killed a bunch.
Yeah, there's
right.
at least 3 under the in the hull too.
Okay, I'm gonna touch one of the ones that's around, and I'm going to speak with it. I'm gonna ask the dead a question.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna be spending some intellect here. It's 2 at first, and then 1 for each additional point. A question I want to ask it. So, let me just bring this down right now. Okay, so what are you doing here?
Caw, caw, caw. I'm just fucking with you.
Great.
We can have a whole conversation with chicken motions.
Yeah.
So what you asked it, what it's doing here,
Yes.
right? And it says, in your mind, are we come to take the magic and we bring it back to the nest?
Where is the nest?
The nest is in the middle of our home, in the safety of the trees.
A more precise location. Where are your trees?
Our trees are surrounded by the water.
Motherfucker. Who sent you?
We get information and we send ourselves. Though we make deals with the passerbys who trespass in our territories.
All right, and I have a little group conference with everybody and relay all this information and see if anybody knows any more about the rasters or where their homelands are or the such.
Before, did you just talk to that dead body?
Yes, I did.
Am I going to be able to do that?
If you look as beautiful as I do, perhaps.
Oh boy. And Decurro just looks like woo, and I don't know if I want to do that.
It said its trees were surrounded by water. Then I'm assuming they came from that island then, which means there could be a ton more of those.
Wait, is this? I look at the island. Is there just like shitloads of birdmen?
Is there like bird poop all over the rocks and
Is there
shit?
bird shit everywhere?
Giant foot-wide splats of bird shit.
Oh god.
This can be a trickier endeavor than we thought to get the ship back underway.
My brain is getting tired. Is there anything else I should ask?
Did it say who sent them? They said they sent themselves, right?
Yes, but somehow
Ask him if this is their island. The island. Is this his trees surrounded by water?
Okay. Is this your home island that we stand at the foot of?
I sense the nest and the cluster nearby, yes.
Did a passerby send you to get anything particular?
We are given a marking, a notice of the things that we might be interested in.
And I will relay this to everybody.
They were tipped off by someone.
Well, the ship's path would be known to anybody who inquired. I would imagine this is a fairly regular route.
Where is Draggart?
He was knocked out. He got beat up pretty bad.
So, who is in charge of the ship?
Right now, no one. The couple of the crew guys, I told them to get him off the ship and get him secure. He like looks around in the water to see if they're like in a rowboat, like right near where they're at.
Is anyone of the crew doing anything to because if this is their home island, we need to make some decisions like real quick.
Am I done with this one? Yes, there are other ones. And I will say to him, sleep well, knowing that I will eat your flesh deep fried.
Decurro's eyes just go wide, like, well, then that just turns away.
And I'm going to use a recovery roll to regain some intelligence back.
Oh, very nice.
I'm going to use my action one. Do we have 10? Could I use a 10-minute recovery roll?
Sure.
As we try to like suss out the situation.
I'm down with that.
Okay. Oh, nice. How best to do that?
Yeah, if you're using a 10-minute, I'm going to use my 10-minute too.
I guess I will do the same. What does that get us?
Oh. So at first, did you already use your one action one?
I haven't used anything.
Okay, so you can use your first one, your first recovery roll, and it's a 1d6 plus your tear. So we're tear 1, so 1d6 plus 1 to a pool.
That sounds good. Well, I don't know the way that I roll on them. Oh no, I rolled a 5. Nice.
Hey, there you go.
And then if you have to use your 10-minute ones, we're taking 10 minutes like to chill out, and then you can use another recovery roll. But then the next time.
That'll be good.
Yeah. I bolstered myself respectively.
Yes, me too.
So do we see? Do I notice the guys who were in charge of Draggart like in the water or no?
No. So the whole ship is kind of pitched out. So they are off to the side, kind of towards the staircase, and one of them only one of them was carrying Draggart, and he's now trying to kind of get him down the stairs and towards Draggart's room.
Okay. If there's another crewman nearby, I will, yell for him to come over. It'd be like, Pivel bailed out. I don't know where he went. Draggart's out for the count. I need you to gather all the crewmen who haven't been hurt and get a watch up here. There may be more of these creatures on that island. I need you guys to be prepared.
And he kind of just looks at you oddly, but then goes, aye. And we'll start gathering men.
Did you hear that?
I whisper something to Valos. Oh.
No, do it. Whisper it.
If we just kill Draggart, I can get some real answers.
And then I lean and whisper, Valos, you're the captain now.
He's like, he puts a hand out in like both directions. He's like, you settle down. And then he turns to Myra and he's like, no, we're not going to do that.
Just saying.
And then I lean in and say, the ship is still sinking.
Which is why we need to get repairs underway as soon as possible.
Well, we need to push it to the island. We can't fix it in the water.
I don't think anyone's going to push it anywhere. We're stable for now. Valos would look around for like the ship's bell, since they're like up top, to ring like the alarm to bring. I don't want everybody to come running to the top of the deck, but I want to assemble as much as the crew. Well, I told that guy to go grab people, so I'm going to wait for them to come back. Okay. Assuming, it takes him 15 or 20 minutes to get a couple of runners and, try to get enough of the crew back up top that we can, kind of give them a heads up as to what's going on.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah. So it only takes like a minute or so for him to gather up some crewmen.
All right. Which do we have shipwrights? Do we have people on here that can fix the ship? We have huge holes in the ship. It's stable right now. There's some ciphers holding up the damaged pontoon. I don't know how long this is going to last. We need to try to effect repairs as quickly as possible. The creatures that attacked us may have nests on the island off the port bow. We don't want to be here for any longer than we have to be, but I don't think we're seaworthy. I don't think we'll make the trip to Highland.
And so they basically explained to you that there are engineers on the ship, and those are basically crewmen that are there to make sure that the tech keeps running. But they neither have the men nor the supplies to actually make repairs this large and this significant.
Well, what do you need?
Well, I mean, we'd need a crap ton of wood and the manpower to actually and the know-how to actually repair something like this. Either that or some pretty insane tech that would or just straight up magic that would be able to mend all this.
Milo, do you have anything in mind? You come from that part of the world where magic is a little more in the fore.
Well, there's trees on that island over there, so plenty of wood. But no, I don't think so.
How many men do you need, and how long do you think it would take?
Who are you asking?
One of the crewmen.
The crewmen?
I mean, he says they have engineers and all that stuff, so I'm trying to
One
get
of his crewmen.
One of my guys.
You're asking me to figure out how many raindrops it'll take to fill up a bucket. Like, who the hell knows?
1,746. Myra.
Yes.
Could the obelisk help at all here?
We can ask it.
Well, you can ask it. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, why don't you go ask it?
To help
fix the
us.
boat. Yeah.
It's not going to fix the boat.
I sort of feel like it owes me, seeing how like I am the way I am now. So I mean,
Well, then go pay it tribute.
Go pay.
Yes.
You think that would work?
I mean, it's worth a try, right?
I don't.
Look the other way.
I'll go over to the obelisk and see if I can figure out how to make it help us.
There's a hole already cut.
What?
Nothing. No.
Maybe its magic power can mend the ship.
Go ask it.
I ask it. Can your magic power mend the ship? I put my hand on it. Can your magic power mend the ship?
It's cold and wet.
Know that feeling.
That seems about right.
Why is it so cold?
Okay. The obelisk can't help us. It's cold and wet. You've made me look like a fool.
I think you did that yourself.
So Valos says to the crewman, he's like, how far are we from Highland?
if we had a ship that was up and running, 3, maybe 4 days.
I mean, can't we just take this thing and leave everybody behind to their own devices?
I look at Valos. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying.
We hop on one of those spittoon thingies.
Spittoon? Yeah, spittoon.
Spittoon.
3 days is a long way to row. This is 3 days on a ship with,
Well, we've
magical
got a
engines.
power source. It's a power source.
And he turns to you and is like,
They're called passengers. Get a whip.
all right. Fuck. Let me know when Draggert's up. Keep the rest of the crew up here to keep an eye out. See if any of those things come back.
Yeah, if they need wood, we should probably just start cutting down trees and just keeping watch out for any of these things coming. Then if that's the option that we have.
I'm pretty sure cutting down trees is gonna piss them off. So let's be prepared.
Yeah, but if we need them in the ship so we can move on, and they need wood, and I don't know.
Maybe we can go hunt the big mama bird and find treasure.
Let's kill the mama bird.
Let's do it.
And take her eggs, and we can have the sweet mama bird eggs. Imagine the omelet.
well, so do they have the ability to work the wood in such a way that they can at least make hasty repairs, or do they just not have the ability at all?
Yeah, they're the engineers.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure what's our best plan, because we could cut down trees for hours and float them back over, but if they can't work the wood, then that serves no purpose.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have the tools to then make this timber into lumber.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try to just lash a bunch of trees to the side of a ship, I guess, but that's not sure how far that's going to get you.
Well, the holes are big enough at least to get a rowboat through, so they're pretty large.
Yeah. Maybe we start just going through the stuff that's on the ship, the cargo. Just gotta start looking through the cargo, see if there's anything that can help us.
And if not, it's our duty to get them help.
Who?
The people we're leaving behind.
Oh, is that what we're doing? We're leaving them behind?
I'm just saying it wouldn't be nice of us to get them help.
Well, the problem is we don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Can't those things float one of those side boats?
Well, we have the rowboats, but the rowboats are powered by oars, so we can get to the island, but I don't think we'll get much farther than that. I'm assuming it's they're like regular dinghies, right? I mean, it's not any sort of a powered.
Right.
Well, what if we went and we explored and we explored the island to see what it's all about? What if that's also an option too? Maybe there's something we can do other than chopping down trees.
Indeed, there may be people.
I have the ones in my Decurro. Let's go to the island.
Let's do it. Milo and Decurro start going towards the
I see Milo already in a rowboat halfway there.
Yeah. No, I'm doggy paddling.
It's me and you. And you.
Yeah.
Decurro's Laren.
It's Decurro and Milo.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with trying to head over and see what we can find.
So, Valos, who are you going to leave in charge of your ship?
I'm pretty sure Pivel takes command.
Pivel is dead to me. If we see Pivel, he's done.
I don't even know if he's still on the boat.
He goes in the brig.
So I turn to, I look back at the guy then as we're having 4 conversations. I'm like, have you seen Pivel since the attack? Last time I saw him, he turned tail and ran.
Haven't seen him.
You got to lock him down. If you find him, you got to lock him down.
Let's just kill him.
No, we should ask. Well, if by killing him it means you're going to speak to his dead body to get answers, I'm with that. But I feel like I felt like this while we were sailing that he had something going on. I mean, he stole Milo's book, so I got his book back from Milo, and now we need to ask him questions. He has to know. He's got to know something. So if by killing him, so he can talk to his dead body, I'm more on board. But we should really go explore this island first to see if there's something that can help us.
Valos kind of raises an eyebrow and he looks at the crewman to see what his reaction is when they talk about killing Pibble.
She can talk to dead bodies.
Unfazed by that.
That's normal.
So he nods and he's like, we're not killing anybody right now. If you find Pivel, I guess technically he's in charge. I don't think he's going to help you. Is this guy like the ranking guy that I'm talking to, or no?
Kind of is at this point.
Okay. I mean, like crews, like generically,
shit's kind of falling apart.
Yeah. I'm like, I put my hand on his shoulder. You're in charge for right now. As soon as the captain is awake and is conscious and knows what's going on, don't fuck anything up. If you find Pivel, I guess put him in charge if you want. We're going to head to the island and I guess see what we can turn up because we don't have a whole lot of options. So don't fuck anything up.
Wait, but listen, this one right here, and I point to the raster that I was talking to. His final wishes were to be deep fried, but you gotta pluck them first.
Yeah, you gotta pluck them to get at that sweet meat. You gotta pluck them to get at that sweet meat. That sweet birdman meat.
He just kind of looks at you, Valos, and kind of looks around. And it's like, thanks for the promotion, random guy who paid to have passage on this ship.
That's Captain Random Guy who paid to have passage on the ship to you, buddy.
Look, you guys are fucking around. We handled it as best as we could. If you're in charge, you're in charge. Look, I'm just trying to help the situation, all right, buddy?
He just, again, is like he wants to say something back. He's like, shakes his head and walks away from you.
He watches him go, and then he's like, all right, let's go, I guess.
Yeah. To the island.
To the island. So you guys row yourselves. You row your boat gently across the harbor-esque area, and you find yourselves on a rather rocky shore. It's kind of like a sand, but if you've ever been to a beach in New England, you pretty much know exactly what I'm talking about. There's kind of sand, but there's also a shit ton of rocks, and it's really uncomfortable to walk on with your bare feet.
And there's bird shit on it.
Yeah. But like I said before, giant foot-wide
turds.
Yeah.
Bird turds. Birds, if you will.
Birds that lay turds. Yes. So you make your way and you pull the boat up onto the shore. And the four of you at this point, in a slightly Lost-esque fashion, you have the shore, and then there's about 20 or so feet of beach, and then there's a little bit of grass, and then boom, forest line, and it looks like a very thick wooded area that pretty much encompasses the vast majority of this island.
I'm gonna pull my hood back and let the sun glance off my scaled skin. Kind of warm myself up.
Decurro notices that and just thinks, I'm gonna look like that someday. Oh.
All right. So what is your plan at this point? Do you want to trek into the woods, or do you want to kind of set up a small base camp area, or what?
I imagine Decurro's gonna use all of his skill at kind of like, you know, searching around to try to find signs of, you know, people or inhabitants, just to see if there's anything, just to find some clues to see if there's something to follow, to go see if we can get some help or anything like that. Just
go ahead then and give me an intellect check.
Straight up. 10.
10, very nice, not bad. All right, so you're kind of looking around and you're trying to figure out anything that you can use, or perhaps any, like you said, any signs of any life, or paths or anything like that. And so the whole island is kind of like a giant dome shape, like a large hill that's raised out of the ocean. But as you look around, you kind of notice slightly off center, there's almost a small mountainous area that perches out, and you see probably about a dozen or so of those large bat-like rasters kind of perched along the mountain. This is probably about at least 3/4 of a mile to a mile away from you, but it rises up above the trees and everything high enough that you can see it.
Well, shit. There's the rastor them.
Oh, I see what you did there. I told you they were on the island.
I'm not. I'm calling that's game. I'm ending the campaign right now. This can't go on. Sorry. Proceed. I guess.
Well, probably stay out of that area then. We know what's over there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna mark that as okay. Well, there seems to be. I mean, it looks like sort of a nesting situation.
Yeah. Basically, you see. Actually, you know what? Ha! I totally forgot. It's like, yeah. So we'll say at this point, it's like the sun's rising up and the gleaming off of the mountain. That's how you can see all these things kind of perching down. And so yeah, it does look like they're like nesting on this mountain. And then what you so that is what you see, and then suddenly what you hear is probably about a 1/4 mile down shore. So like just kind of around just before the bend. You hear some like loud, high-pitched, shrill sounds and a couple of squawks, and you actually see that there is 3 of the bird creatures with 3 rasters down shore, collecting some of the crates in cargo that had floated off of the ship, and they are loading it into nets, and 2 of the rasters kind of float up, holding these nets in their feet, in their claws, as they kind of lift up and begin to fly away.
Did we leave our cargo at the ship?
No, you had said that you tied. Well, actually,
it's I secured it to the to the boat, to the lifeboat there.
You did. Yes.
And it was floating from the crystal anyway, so I mean, it's left it as safe as we could probably expect it to be.
Yeah. And at this point, it's actually probably because the bottom of it is still just kind of sinking there and just as heavy. It's about 10 feet off shore, so you like have a rope attached to it, but it's too heavy for you to fully drag onto shore.
Well, shit.
Sounds like a good place to formulate a plan.
Yeah, we call it here.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
You know, like at an impasse, it's kind of like.
Yeah, did we try to get the stuff? How many were there?
2 of them. Well, yeah, but 2 of them took off, and only 1 of them is left.
And it's a bird. It's a raster with a rider.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
With a that is left behind, collecting up some loose cargo.
Okay.
Well, we should think about taking them down for next time.
Yeah, if we could do it fast enough. If he's on the back of the thing, he's got the advantage. I mean, he'd get away before we can even close. Unless we can all sneak.
Who knows what the other ones that are perched or in the nesting area will do if they see us.
If they can see that far, who knows what their vision's like.
Yeah.
It's not a character, but I don't know if you've ever gone up on like a mama swan and her babies. Those things are fucking mean. So let's hope it's not the same kind of situation.
I'm sure it's much worse.
Yeah, that stands to reason. All right, well, we'll have to ponder then and see what the best plan of action is. Fucking Draggert's unprepared to be on the ocean.
That's why Captain Valos will be taking over command.
First order is I kill that fucking guy when we get back.
Yes. Yeah. Throw Pivel in the brig and ask him what the fuck he knows about all of this.
You know what we should have did? Because I'm a fucking idiot. We should have went down to go see if Draggert was awake before we got off the fucking boat.
Nah.
And we should have looked through all the cargo and saw what was in there. That could have helped us out. I know Decurro did say that, but
I mean,
raided the ship a little.
Well, they've got stuff too now. These rasters, so if we can sneak up on that one and take them out, we can see what they have.
Well, I think when you guys had looked through the crates earlier, at least the handful that you looked through was all mostly military arms. So
yeah,
Valos is probably all the same. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Nope. That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always a good game.
I wouldn't say always.
Usually.
Now, just darling, give us the XP so we can do some leveling.
I was just about to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, -1 for me for saying it. No.
I'll give you I'll give each of you, because XP has been a little like, it looks to be like every other session basically. So I'll give you guys 3 XP.
Oh shit!
Plus Decurro, you did crit on a skill, correct?
I did, yes.
So I will give you 1 XP to give to whomever you wish.
Ooh, I'm gonna give it to Valos.
Shit, that takes me to 6.
Because him and I, we worked our magic together today.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
That's awesome. I have XP
With my plan.
And I'm going to spend 4 of my XP to add an edge to my intellect.
Ooh,
Nice.
look at that.
Oh yeah, 4 XP. Ooh, I have to think about that.
Yeah, we get to spend.
Yeah, baby.
I think we can do an incremental there.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at all that stuff. I'm unfamiliar with all that stuff.
That's what I love about being a DM. I don't need to know the rules.
Raise your effort, add a skill.
Ooh, you can add a skill. Not bad.
Yeah.
You can add a special ability too, can't you?
There's like short-term and long-term benefits that cost different XP, but they're not like not working towards tier 2. I'm blanking. Oh, you add
Points to one of your pools.
what is it? Yeah, is it 4 or
Points to the pool.
6?
4.
5 points. I forget the point. Yeah, points to
4
your
points to
pools.
stat pool.
4 points.
Effort.
4 points. Yeah, 4 points among your stat pools. Right, you're right. Yeah, add effort, add a skill, and there's a 4th thing that I'm blanking.
Add edge, effort, skill, points, and then there's special ones.
Edge. Yep.
Yes.
You got it. Perfect.
All right. Can't wait for next time.
Yay!
Yeah,
And we're
good.
coming back in 2 weeks this time, right? Not a month.
Well, so are we doing the 21st? Like that's what I have on the calendar after I went back and looked at it.
Yes.
Or do we want to do? I'm fine with any day. It doesn't matter to me, but because you were trying to get your game scheduled, so I guess while Jesse was off trying to figure out internets, we were kicking around ideas. I didn't have it written down anywhere else, but it was on the schedule. So if the 21st works, I'll leave it. If not, we can, we can do the 14th. It's open for me.
14th works too. Well, we can let everybody know, right? So we can stop.
Yeah, we can do it in that.
All right.
Yep. Cool. All right. Thanks everybody for checking it out.
Everybody.
Thanks Jesse for running. Thanks everybody for
Thank
playing.
you, Jesse.
Thank
you guys
you.
for playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you guys weren't playing, then it would just be me talking to myself, and nobody wants to listen to that.
And it would be like every other Thursday.
Cool. All right. Well, catch everybody next time.
Night.
Peace.
Cheers.
Night.